Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cannabis Legalization News. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Howard. You can find me over at cannabisindustrylawyer.com. We have a whole new week of all cannabis legalization news-related stories. And if you want to get these stories emailed to you every week when we go live, there is a QR code that will be going hopefully over there. Right there. Use that QR code, sign up for our email newsletters. And then I want to give a shout out to the Kind Pen. My vape broke and somebody emailed me wanting a backlink because we have cannabisindustrylawyer.com and then also cannabislegalizationnews.com. People want backlinks from them. And they offered to give me a vape pen if I give them a shout out. It's thekindpen.com. Check them out. They're pretty cool. You hit the button 5 times and then it turns on. Now, let's get into our main story of the week. We have conflicting stuff coming out of the Republicans, an editorial from the would-be Attorney General Matt Gaetz, and then a press release from the White House, and they seem to contradict each other. Is Trump going to legalize it? Is Trump going to not legalize it? And then did you notice that our thumbnail was hopefully Ghibli inspired, but ChatGPT was giving us crap because we tried to make it on Saturday and they had updated their photo thing that has been going viral nationwide, and we couldn't edit the thumbnail with Donald Trump in it, so it created a picture of it like that. Okay, let's get to our trending stories, and Miggy is joining us from an international destination.
What's up?
There he is. Miggy, where are you joining us from?
What the birthday?
And what's that in the background? Let's zoom in on him. Show him. Let's do the.
These are the arcs. I think they're arc of the cert, but yeah, those are the arcs in the background. It's kind of why I wanted to sit right here. But man, we had our carts confiscated coming across on the Mexican side, so be careful coming across with vapes because. I think tensions they're searching more. They are looking
searching
harder.
More. Oh yeah. Oh, interesting. It's like they know the Americans are bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They aren't sending their best. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to insinuate anything against you, Miggy. I'm paraphrasing our president, but we have something from not our president, but from somebody who did not become Attorney General. And hopefully I'm able to exit out all these before I share it. There we go. This is Matt Gaetz. He published a Tampa Bay Times opinion, an op-ed on March 27th. And he mentions about why the marijuana laws should be rooted in science and not stigma. This is him trying to stay relevant, perhaps, but they say Donald Trump and his leadership thanks to President Donald Trump and his leadership in supporting the rescheduling of cannabis from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III drug. So hopefully, rescheduling's still on. He's not the Attorney General, though.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? The messaging here, because we're going to cover another story where it's like the opposite. Like you can't tell with this present administration, and with Gaetz though, man, it's like I've heard a story or an analogy. You find a brick gold in a trash can, you're not gonna take the whole trash can with you. You're just gonna take that. So he's standing correct on one policy, right? Like, but rescheduling is the way. As many people want to argue with us about like deschedule or just flat out legal. Yeah, how's that going for us so far? You know what I mean?
It ain't. It's not going. But like, it's just fascinating that this would have been the Attorney General if he didn't like having sex with underage girls and drugs that aren't weed. But because like Pete Hegseth became the Secretary of State because he wasn't effing 18 18 would be the age of consent, less than 18-year-olds. And so he's got some quotes. Rescheduling cannabis will open doors for more research, ensuring that veterans have access to safe and effective therapies that can improve the quality of life. And then also he says, by moving to Schedule 3, we would eliminate these excessive tax burdens and allow legal operations to thrive, leading to increased investment and more access to cannabis for patients and veterans, as opposed to the hemp loophole that we have right now that's endangering these people because there are no regulations or rules. So like Trump has said, I want it safe. Medical's great. It needs to be regulated. It can't be, basically the hemp industry. Like, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, I am 6 years ago when it was just about rope and CBD, but it became, no, marijuana's legal. I'm going to sell whatever the heck I want.
And again, the if you want to consider that illegal, it hasn't created reform for the consumer. It hasn't created protections for the consumer, nor quality products as far as a regulated market. And it's great. All these hemp people are telling us that, we self-regulate. That's great. I'm sure you're the best player out there, but there's still a billion others right now in this open market of just nothing, right? Like people are buying TrumpWeed.com, with the intention of smoking it. The fact that Illinois has a market that you can buy flower at a store, and these guys can put pot leaves and advertisements on their thing without consequences, right? Because we're going to be the most law-abiding store, all of Illinois, and all of Pekin.
Okay, Jesus fucking Christ. Two things. In our state, we don't pronounce the S on Illinois. And it's Pekin, not Peckin.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I just want to get your toes curled.
Washington State. Miggy is joining us from Seattle in Washington State. Yeah. But then we have that one op-ed that comes out from Matt Gaetz, and I'm like, yes, the Trump administration, because he likes Matt Gaetz. He wanted Matt Gaetz, Matt Gaetz' baggage prevented him from becoming attorney general, and he goes back to Pam Bondi, who he also likes. However, then they release a fact sheet on the same day that Gaetz does the op-ed, also on March 27th. This is out of the whitehouse.gov fact sheet, making Washington the greatest capital city in the world again, I'm assuming, because it's from him. So I always just assume the word again is there some way. Today, President Trump signed an executive order, and then it goes yada, 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 yada. And then it's like, here's this bullet point right here. DC's failed policy to open the door to disorder and criminals noticed. Washington, D.C., 3 bullet points. There's a colon after Washington, D.C. Bullet point 1. Abandoned traditional pre-trial detention and effectually replaced it with catch and release. Next, decriminalized marijuana. Next, lets rioters run loose even if they vandalize property and assault police. Do you see what they did there? They have this pretrial detention. There's a I'm not a criminal lawyer, so I don't know what it's called because it's not relevant to my practice. But it's happened in many of the states. Illinois has it now too, where if you're arrested, you can't post bail, they just let you go until it's your trial date. More like it's a civil infraction as opposed to it's a criminal infraction. For whatever reason they do that. And then decriminalize marijuana right there. So after this, if you get arrested and you're not going to be detained until your trial and held, you're going to go back home and maybe take a bath in the healing waters of a state outside the prosecutor's jurisdiction. But then rioters are let loose, even if they vandalize property and assault police. He pardoned the January 6th people, all 1,500 of them. And it's rioters let loose, even if they vandalize property and assault police. I'm like, bro, they did both of those things. And I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying, I was there. I was not literally there. I was watching the news and aware 5 years ago, But then the decriminalized marijuana, the biggest nothing burger of the 3. You're not arresting these people for something that shouldn't be a crime.
Well, again, the Republicans have been stopping that DC from creating their own market, right? You kind of create criminals when you don't allow them to have a path for business. You know what I mean? It's kind of a double entendre there, where
No, a double entendre is
or
usually sexual. Like usually
yeah,
always sexual.
true.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
you know what I mean, though. Like you're saying one thing,
double-edged
but
sword, like the rules for thee, but not for me, that
there you
type
go.
of thing. Double standard.
There
Yeah.
we go. Yeah, no,
Right.
but that's just totally it. With the Washington D.C., right? It's this entity that doesn't have representation. Like,
Yeah. But they still get taxed.
yeah, yeah, and it's just unfortunate that, and again, it's like mixed messaging, right? That you use Gates to send out one thing, and then this actual thing from the White House. This is why I don't think there will be any real change federally, not for the next 3 years now, right? Like there's
No way. No way.
you know, to be unfortunate.
No.
To,
Out in the background. Like, yeah, there we go. Okay, two. Like you're on the beach. You're right near the beach.
oh, dude, yeah, I'm walking it. It's beautiful.
Do you know our next story?
We have
our
marijuana.
Next story is pro-industry PAC targets Biden in Canada in pro-Trump ads, trying to get Trump to steal legalization. And he's got it. He's got this football. Like, he can just be like, Schedule 3 is going to be a thing. Vote for Republicans in 2026. And he's got that, but he loves hating on Joe Biden. It's like one of his most referenced words. If you read all of his speeches and stuff, like Biden is the explanation. It's like 9/11, but 20 years later, it's like that Joe Biden. That's why it's bad. This thing, and so that appeals to the current president. And as a result, the Marijuana Industry Political Action Committee is making not propaganda, but any advertisement is propaganda, making propaganda targeted toward President Trump, highlighting how Biden screwed up. And so we have some quotes from it. Millions of American patients depend on medical cannabis, but Joe Biden and Democrats classified their medication as a dangerous narcotic like heroin, eliminating their access to relief.
Just another example of us being on the worst timeline. I mean, whatever it takes, it takes. Have you seen the commercial? It'd be nice if we could have shared it, because it's ridiculous. But also,
the commercial is linked here. Let me just go pull it up real quick. It'll just take me a second to pull up the linked thing. But I saw it, and then it was just there's not a lot of text on that web page, and so trying to say well, what's the summary of this? Nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, here it is. And so they have Biden's war and your fight. We may get a copyright strike on this. We may not. I don't know how to hit volume on mine. I'm sharing the screen though, and so I don't think I can share. Can you get the volume on it?
Oh no, I got the music in the background.
No, but the way that I'm sharing the screen right now, it just says edit name, stop sharing screen. So I can't share it in a way that shares it with volume.
Oh, you gotta do a stop share and then reshare it, because you probably already selected volume off once already.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Look what you get when you're live. Technical issues. But this commercial is ridiculous though. But if it's kind of thing though, it might work. That's what I'm saying. As far as the worst timeline, because if we have to get the things resolved by pandering to this guy's ego, it's just kind of sad and weird, right?
Yeah. Let's watch this. Though. I got the audio set up, and so it's already been a second, and so much has happened in that second. Let's just pop it up and pop it on.
Millions of American patients depend on medical cannabis, but Joe Biden and Democrats classified their medication as a dangerous narcotic like heroin, limiting their access to relief. President Trump is fighting to make America healthy again. He did it before by giving patients life-saving treatments with the Right to Try Act, and he can do it again by rescheduling cannabis. Ask President Trump to end Biden's war on medical cannabis and put patients first. American Rights and Reform PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hey, smoke one for me.
Smoke one for you. All right, I'll try, but it's a robot, so I won't be able to do it in the next few seconds.
Shit.
Warming up.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what though? I mean, like, I mean, shout out to these guys for getting
Shout
to
out
know
to the
each other.
content. Yeah.
But like, they're a dime a dozen. And I hate to say it, man. Like, uh, Uber, the Vuber in Seattle, it's based out of Seattle, and it's the same type of machine. But what they did is they bought those in China, slapped their name on them, and but now they have better actual batteries with their own design input. I mean, maybe these guys might create their own designs, but it's a dime a dozen. It's a heating element and electricity.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like, God damn it, maybe. You say we finally get a sponsor who gives me something, and you're like, yeah, these guys suck. I'm like, okay,
No,
it's
I
gonna
don't
make
think
it
it's
really
suck.
hard for us to get sponsors. But it sounds like we should just have our own vape pen that we hustle on the show.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, there's so much potential out there. Or like the magical butter machine, same thing. The dude didn't make that. He just bought some product that you mass produce, which is whatever. And that's what I want to get you though with like the sponsoring with like a weed thing. I want to be able to give people good opinions and honest. Like, it's basic, man. It's kind of like with the in the Washington market. I've seen so many infused type things that you see an article saying new tech or new science. It's the same shit to the day. But this, yeah, that commercial thing, I really think it might help. I think it, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's one thing to make a commercial. It's another thing to pay for the advertisements of that commercial. And it's like, how much money are they going to throw behind that commercial? Like, seriously.
Well, I mean, it was a well
I guess
done.
the only commercials that you have to find out what Trump's watching, like what feed Trump's watching. Like, does he subscribe to Hulu? Like, does he subscribe to, like, what's he subscribed to? And then you geo-fence just 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, or is it Southwest Pennsylvania Avenue, whatever the address of the White House is. You just geo-fence that, and then you serve nothing but that for the ads. I'm sure that's probably, it has to be the highest priced zip code for ad spend in the world,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. But I mean, it's unfortunate, but it might work. I really do think that was well done. Like, Biden bad, Trump good. Like,
he loves blaming him. Like, blaming Joe Biden is Trump pastime.
Yeah.
You know what? We might be able to fit the QR code next to you. Hang on a second.
Oh,
no,
there you go.
It takes up too much of his.
Well, I'll do it now.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey, if you want to get the news emailed to you and get notice that we're live, it's right there. And then not only that, when we do new videos, we do emails on those and other shit. Yeah. We have a story out of Oklahoma. This one is not that surprising if you're familiar with the Oklahoma market, but if you're not, then you're like, oh my gosh. But they reviewed a report, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, a little bit of bias, it sounds like, just from who was doing the report. It was like 84 pages, but it is the report compiled by the Texahoma High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area at the request of the state legislatures, and it has key findings. They indicate that Oklahoma has 12 times more licensed growers than Colorado and produces more than 32 times the supply needed. The people who wanted the open market are now going like, oh, the open market is not necessarily as open as we had anticipated. Free market economics, yes. That's why we have hospitals on every street corner. They should not be regulated. But we have some key quotes. Use among adults aged 26 and older is up by 188% since legalization. So cool. Those kids.
Oh, hey, I just there's also Oklahoma has 12 times. What you read that one? I just, dude, did you see all the articles based off this report coming out are all about alarming marijuana study, right? Like, what are they? They didn't really put anything that was like they increased hospital emergency room visits. I mean, that's just bad parenting, right? Like, there's all these things, the Chinese markets that are the cartels that are coming in Oklahoma. Well, you caught them. Right. So that's kind of the good thing about regulation, right? You're going to have like brick and mortars that are. So if you see one that's not on the list, that's a bad guy. So I think there's a lot of fear mongering from this article. I think mostly from the Texas side, but like if Oklahoma is trying to do this reefer madness, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, aren't they, with all the revenue that Texas is bringing them?
It depends on how much revenue they're getting. We should audit them, and so because then they're complicit, and so now they know that they are contributing to diversion of product, which means marijuana trafficking at the federal level.
Yeah.
And so that extremely red conservative states' rights, it is helping a federal crime. Because if they're making 32 times what their own patients could use, where's it going? If they have more license holders than Colorado, which has 2 million or 3 million more people than Oklahoma, and also an open market, why? How is this continuing? And the only explanation for how it's continuing is the sales are happening outside of authorized channels pursuant to their licenses.
Well, I mean, maybe they're authorized, but maybe it's just out-of-staters coming in, right?
Does Oklahoma have an out-of-state program? Where you can? I think Oklahoma has a fairly liberal one. So, if you're in Texas, you might be able to have a card.
Yeah, I'm saying they could. People are operating within the boundaries of the present law. That they got a big market, right? Oklahoma was a free-for-all when it started, and then 3 years after they started, because that was a requirement to open these licenses with a residency, and if you didn't have it, you had to stay there for 3 years. We're at that 3-year mark. They cut it off for no more licenses. So, they're going through a thing, but I think they're hurting their own people by pointing dumb stuff like this out, opposed to creating good regulation for their own, the market. If Texas are coming in, why not?
The Texans will come more in. It seems like Oklahoma does allow out of states, but then they know what's going on, but then they still won't vote for legalizing it, which is very, very bizarre. They know what they're doing.
Dude, they have lounges.
If they call it medical, it's okay.
Yeah,
but if you're doing it for fun, no.
It's crazy. You're here by him.
Yeah.
You're getting fun. Have some brickweed, but if you want all the
it's just it's the hypocrisy of it all, and it's the politics of it. And so your scientific dogma, or it's not scientific, it's political. Your political dogma does not make sense. It's just what you like. It's just the shit stink that you think is right. And so if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, and you're hanging out with one another, it's an echo chamber. You just believe all that shit. And so it's the same stuff with this plant. It's politicized. And so the people that want it illegal aren't going to suddenly see the light and be like, oh, I'm so wrong, unless they have cancer. And that just doesn't happen very often. And so then it could stay politicized forever, you can watch stuff from 50 years ago, 80 years ago, and be like, okay, yeah, they'll be legalizing it soon. No, they aren't, because you're legislating a morality, and you're not legislating an actual facts of something. You're legislating somebody's personal preference, which you can do, but is arbitrary and silly.
Yeah, no, Oklahoma had so much potential, and they just kind of been, even, 4 years ago, we reported on the whatever reserve is in that area, how they said the cannabis industry from Kansas, Oklahoma, and I think Missouri, even before Missouri hit recreational, that their GDP affected the local, the cannabis market affected the local GDP, which, Oklahoma has so much potential for just good revenue, better roads, but then we got Tennessee looking for better roads.
The Tennessee news is with the better roads. Oklahoma's making as much money as it can. They're hand over fist. But it has to be medical. But they're making a hand over fist. If Texas gets shut down, Oklahoma's going to make even more money. They're going to then have 60 times the amount of cannabis they need to satisfy their patients, because most of their patients are coming from Texas. And then this is another state that could, in theory, do that, but they don't. The Pot for Potholes Act that was presented to the Criminal Justice Subcommittee next week, it's gone. It's been voted down, and so that is out of Tennessee. They wanted this bill called Pot for Potholes, fixing the roads with sales tax from legal cannabis, HB 703. It's gone.
Another bill that died in committee?
It died somehow, but yeah, this one is March 20th. Yeah, I read that it's already out, and so like it died in committee.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And again, it's like the homegrown issue here in Washington State. That's why
it's the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And so like if they would say medical pot for potholes, and then take a Tennessee, because Tennessee loves guns and they love freedom and they hate taxes, and so like, you know, this is just like the Bible aspect of it, where they're like, no, that's not what a good Christian would do. And so if you say it's medical weed, then they might just have like, because like you have Georgia and you have Alabama below you, and Georgia's got like 12 million people and Alabama's got like 4 million people, and so together you got like 16 million people, and their programs suck. They freaking suck. They're always going to suck. They're terrible. They're like the teacup program in Texas. And so like you could have really, really liberal Tennessee medical marijuana laws, and then just be selling tons of product into Alabama and Georgia.
Well, again, this is why rescheduling, if rescheduling happens, you won't need to do all that, right? You won't need these.
Well, no, you do. Rescheduling just means legal medical marijuana. And so we're just trying to get legal medical marijuana. Like when the legislature says like, we're going to go for legal adult use marijuana, that's like jumping the shark with the Fonzie and Happy Days. It's like where you go a bridge too far. And so like these really conservative states that are left, you know, like Texas could have an amazing C-Cup program. Teacup program, the Texas Compassionate Use Program. Their Texas Compassionate Use Program is terrible. Yeah, and so like they could have a Mississippi style program. They could have an Oklahoma style medical program, and then essentially all their hemp program would be the same, except you would just say it's medical, and you would have tests and shit.
Right. I mean, that's I think we've been just trying to like tell these hemp farmers like get ready for rescheduling, because like if you want to say you're growing weed, because that's the whole intent of what you're selling it as. You're not selling it as a rope. You're not selling it as a t-shirt. You're selling it to be on the shelves in Illinois. Like that's what you're doing. You're not selling it to be industrial material. So when that time comes for rescheduling, you're gonna have to make sure you have the proper procedures for your growing, right? And then the flushing, so then we can get the testing done at the end, whatever pesticides, cannabinoids, whatever in the end will be, because it is the same plant. But right now, you are just skirting the law and pretending that you are something you're not.
Yeah, they are. But then at the same time, they're saying that what they're doing is legal and you're committing a federal crime. And I'm like, no, you guys are also committing a federal crime. You just don't, you're too stupid to realize that. And so like, that's the problem. And they haven't changed anything. But here's another story about somebody who's making some money on that side. Cheech and Chong, they have one of the best. I'm not sure who has a better seltzer than them. However, that's not the story that we have. Stoner comedy legend Tommy Chong will be speaking at the 54th Ann Arbor Hash Bash here, coming up pretty shortly. I want to say it is
April 6th.
April 5th. It's on Saturday, April 5th. Cheech and Chong will be at, Tommy Chong, half of Cheech and Chong will be at Ann Arbor's Hash Bash speaking. And so good luck to them.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan's out, but Michigan State's still in, so maybe they'll win. But Hash Bash, that thing goes back 50 years or more.
Yeah,
John Sinclair.
I was lucky enough to be on the video version of Hash Bash during COVID. Just for random, like, hey, we know that you done good work. Would you want to speak? I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do? The Zoom call.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out, man. If you get a chance in Michigan, go to that. That's one of my bucket lists next to where I'm at right now.
Well, one day. I think it'll still be around. It'd be nice to go to this one, but it is April 5th, which is next weekend.
Go.
I guess I could. I mean, like, the pleadings are due on the 9th, and we're done with that. And then that other hearing got continued into May, which means, and he's not going to answer it, but I get to serve a request to admit on somebody.
Nice.
And well, he's going to object before the next hearing, and then I'm going to use it against him. Be like, you see, they're even standing in the way of discovering the facts that we have the right to know, Your Honor.
Yeah, man, treat yourself, dude. Get out there. So
I'm going to do that. It's a hike. Ann Arbor's a hike. I'm not going to lie. And then I got capacity, and so like it's not just me; it's me and the family.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. So we got more Michigan news.
Oh yeah, that's why we doubled it up there. More Michigan news.
See what you did there. Michigan judge rules cannabis testing labs violated state regulations.
Say what? You're telling me that when you do an open market state and people are vying for trying to get shelf space and moving their product, your testing lab might be swayed by some extra money to say that it has more THC, or what was the chicanery? Was it just THC percentage, or were they also saying it has like no paths and stuff?
It's a multiple like lab operation. So like the kicker of this one is a former Michigan State police officer is the one who started this lab, right? Like everybody's trying to get their auxiliary foot in the door.
They want to get paid, man. They want to get paid.
You don't have to be plant touching. You don't have to be a grower, right? You don't have to be a store. You could be a lab, like I do for electronics. But the issue here, when you have a cop who doesn't know anything about the regulatory market or testing, that's what you know, as you can do in the store. But with a lab, you're going to have methodologies, and a lot of it's already out there because you're in compliance, or at least you want to be. So that's part of it. And the other part was, they were flexing the numbers.
They're flexing the numbers. And so, that's what it is. Because, like, it's the same thing that happened in 2008. There's like 4 mortgage rating departments, Moody's, S&P. I can't remember the other 2. And so, like, you don't go to Moody's, you're going to go down to S&P, or you're going to go down to like one of the other 2 guys you can't remember. And that bond is going to get rated AAA. Which is just as bullcrap as like rating wines, or like even competitive cannabis applications. You can read a competitive cannabis application for a license and say that person right there knows what they're doing. I'm going to give this to them. No, you give it to your buddy. That's why you do merit-based applications. Opening soon in U.S. Virgin Islands. Don't forget to call us.
I mean, none of this is fair. We got 50 different rules for 50 different markets.
More like we got to get into the U.S. Virgin Islands now, and so it's like Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, that kind of stuff. Where you have these areas. I mean, eventually there'll be a Greenland license. We'll take over Greenland. Like, don't worry, we'll give you medical weed.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you have to grow it inside. It's cold as shit here, and it'll be really interesting to see. But
I think we're going to have one of our first customers, Tom Patterson, saying he's going to plan a vacation when our dispensary opens. So, hell yeah.
Oh,
dude.
Cool. All right. Well, we have numerous marketing avenues that we'll do. We still have to close on the property. Let's close on the property first. And then after we close on the property, then we do the collection of the invoices.
Pekin looks like
and you have an invoice pending. Man.
No, Beacon looks like a lovely town, though. I think it definitely could be a destination.
It's very charming. It's very charming, and we are downtown, old town, like old small town America is where this dispensary is. And so if we could make it there, we can break the entire remaining of the Midwest that has that exact type of town and conservative people and resell these services. I mean, like Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Iowa, Wisconsin, all these states have not broken yet. Neither has like Alabama or Georgia in any real respective way. Neither is Texas has any in real respective way. So if we get Schedule 3 and trigger law states and rules, I think we can have licenses in the South and in the Midwest, the conservative areas. But it has to be medical legalization. They will not tolerate adult use legalization.
And I think that's just the footstep to recreational adult use, right? Like Prop 215 was the gateway drug legalization that showed everybody that this is medicine. But also, I mean, one of the things that hurt the Washington State market was the YouTuber, the guy goes, yeah,
Oh goodness, Jesus Christ! That guy, like those, that gets put us both on, because like this goes back in the day.
Yeah.
And so like 6 years ago, when I went out to Washington State, and there was all these weirdo YouTubers and shit, and like it was like I'm like, we can't get away with any of this stuff, and at Hash Pass, that was strange, like just like how free your industry was from any particular regulation or any qualm that this is a legitimate thing, and it was just hucksterism to get high.
Well, and that was the thing, because we did have a lot of legit patients, right? And there's a lot of legit people, and there's also people like, again, all uses as medical use. But this guy took a camera to one of our markets, and they used that footage from the market and said, "See, this is not medicine. These guys are just dabbing and dorking, whatever." And it's kind of like how the final rules came to place for our recreational. But we got to keep shaping this market.
But like you mentioned, like going back to Prop 215, since like almost 30 years ago. Our next story is out of California, almost 30 years later. This is out of Palm Springs, the city of Palm Springs, along with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Palm Springs, held a town hall meeting on Wednesday to focus on marijuana-related troubles affecting the community. Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah. The parents are not just talking about it either because of lack of information, misinformation, or just not wanting to have that difficult conversation.
And again, some towns, moratoriums, it's been how long? California was supposed to be the first state to have legalization, supposedly. And then I think it's kind of how we just view the world, right? We view different states with this blanket brush where it's like they're all liberals and they're all woke, but it took such a long time for legalization to happen there.
But and then it's one of those situations like Illinois is somewhat similar to it, where like it's still legal in your state, but your city can say that we're not going to allow the retail sale of it here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hemp just kind of killed that and made that mockery. But it's California. California is like New Jersey in the sense that here we are. It's Palm Springs, California, like the state that goes all the way back, and it's still like half illegal there because of the prejudice. And so like we still have not addressed the prejudice. And then the medical makes the most like it gets the most ground, and like it has the least objections, and it can like give you credibility the most. But what's the most popular? The one that has no credibility or regulations, just hemp, because they can say whatever, and then it kind of brings us all down,
Yeah, no, I just think it's silly when it's like a town hall to talk about reefer madness. Like, just be a parent, talk to your kid, like be involved in their life, like
don't
say,
smoke
hey,
my weed. That's what you say. You sit your kid down. You say, look, Jimmy, don't smoke my weed.
These aren't your gummies.
They're not your gummies, Jimmy. Yeah.
I mean, this is reefer madness. That's all it is.
It is. So we do a little name that strain, or
THC.
Let's do that. There you go. Yeah.
Look at that nug.
It's a good looking nug. Oh, we just flipped a flower. Yeah. We got one of those. Let's see here. One hit seeds. And so that is a triple funk. Lemon tree with plush berry and also an SAO. And I think that 2 out of 3 of them were female, which is nice because they were F1s. Nice. And they're kind of squat, which could be my own failings, but we'll see how they turn out.
We have a hit for this one?
We do. It is an ideal choice for beginning cannabis consumers because its THC is only approximately 17%, and it's fairly cost effective. It is a genetic cross between OG Kush and an unknown strain.
I think it's silly though to say like this is a beginner's like levels of THC is like your stepping stone in the consumption, right? You don't know. It's the entourage effect. Maybe heavy smokers do like low THC. Maybe you like high THC. You won't know.
It could be other stuff that comes with the THC. Like when you're just doing an edible or a beverage or something, and they've taken all the terpenes and the entourage effect out of it. That's one thing. But when you're smoking on something, you're smoking on a plant, and it's the whole melange that's in there that influences your buzz.
Yeah, no, it's an experience. It's not a. So one of the words, it has a word. It sounds like to me like a rosin, like a concentrate. It has that kind of...
yeah. There is a concentrate, and so like this name uses one of the words from its parent, OG Kush, and then also has the name of something that you can buy at a dispensary, which is a style of an extraction. I believe it's a hydrocarbon style extraction because it leaves a crystalline extract.
Who's saying your mommy?
Your mommy? Yeah.
Your
best friend is your mom.
Your daddy. Oh, it's not Kush. So Kush is not in the name.
No, Kush is not in the name. OG is.
Yeah. Good job, Rivera.
Your mom again. Once for the second time and hopefully the last time. The answer is not your mom.
So close in the sugar, though. So close in the
Tahoe OG's pretty close. It's not. It's something that you can buy. Like they do this style of extraction, and you can buy it.
THCA comes in.
Yeah. THCA says it's that.
Yeah.
Which, because it's a crystalline. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, that
we get one? No, we didn't get it yet. All right. Well, let's. It's not shatter. It's diamonds. So Diamond OG.
Diamond.
That's right. Diamond OG. Don't forget to legalize home grow. When you legalize medical, it's the only way. And hemp should always include seeds, because that is just wrong to say. Like, that's like pre-crime. That's like Minority Report shit. Like a seed for Diamonds OG or for ACDC, because like one is like literally a type 3 cultivar that will be a 20-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC that you can't smoke to get high. What hemp used to be. And so one is Diamond OG. And so that is a type 1 cultivar, which is going to be all THC and no CBD, which hemp never was, but for some reason became. And so like either way, that seed should be considered hemp because there's no THC in it, nor is there any intent.
Well, all seeds.
Well, they're all seeds, but not only that, like it is worthless. It is not marijuana, if it is marijuana, until you grow it, you bring it, you veg it, you flip it, and it happens to be female, and you get into the last 4 weeks of flower, maybe the last 2 weeks of flower. Maybe not even those, because then you got to chop it, and nobody wants it unless you're gonna fresh freeze it. But still, like there's so much time between that, and so like trying to say like a hemp seed based on its genetics is marijuana is bullshit to me. We'll see.
Natural grown cannabis. Yeah. That's the term of art, right? We're looking for natural grown, naturally grown, fully grown. Shit.
Natural. Like natural medical marijuana. I don't want no science involved in my medical marijuana. I just want genetics. And yeah, of course you're going to light it on fire, you're going to heat it. Duh. Like that's kind of what you do with this plant. But the reason for that is you have to activate the thing that's naturally in there. And it's not like making cocaine. It's not even close. It's closer to making coffee. Like where you take the bean, you roast it, and then you pass water through it. That's hot. That's it.
Yeah. The next story is, I get it. This is one of those things where like Cole and all the pro hempers, I get it. It helped move the conversation, but now we got to direct people to say, look, hemp is not what it's supposed to be. So appeals court reduces drug trafficking charge to possession due to hemp argument. If this cop gets a hair up their ass, because again, it's all about COAs. So, luckily, good on you, buddy. You got your sentence reduced because the person was facing time. They were
right.
A recent ruling by an appeals court has led to the reduction of a drug trafficking charge to a simple possession, bringing hinging on arguments related to the legal status of hemp. The defendant's legal team contended that the substance in question was hemp, not marijuana, emphasizing challenges in law enforcement faces and distinguishing between the two due to their similar appearance and odors. See,
Yeah,
you can make that
it's the
argument.
exact same thing.
Yeah,
It's the exact same thing. And so like you can't, the dog does not detect the chemical that has no odor. The dog detects the chemicals that have the odor, the terpenes. They're the same. You know, like the dog's not alerting to CBD or THC. The dog is not alerting to THC. It's alerting to caryophyllene, myrcene. It's alerting to the things that give the weed its smell. And you can smell it and you don't have a dog's nose. You know, that's what it's being trained to hit on. It's not being trained. I don't even, can you smell something you can't smell? Like that doesn't make any sense, right?
Well, and again, this is this is talking about one of the last things we have on here is reflecting the evolving landscape of cannabis legislation and enforcement. It is like you're saying, if these law enforcement, I'm glad you're out, dude. I'm glad you're free man having your life again, but they can still come after you. You know, the hemp law hasn't protected nobody. You know, show me on the COA where this is a rope still, and that's going to be the argument that these people are going to be fighting for a long time until we get rescheduling, because then we don't have to worry about this anymore. Then we can have a fair,
But then our next hemp story is out of Texas, where they still don't know what's going on, but they know that they like marijuana bad because like it's a very conservative state, and they want to put the genie that's back in the bottle that is this hemp industry that's gotten out of hand, because it's not really hemp. It's the marijuana industry just saying that it's hemp. It's legal. Come at me, bro. And so like that SB3, it's made it out of the Senate, but now they're wondering if there's going to be a special session to ban these THC products. Their house is easier to get bought out by the people in their districts that are making all this cash, and they've made billions of dollars of cash. Like it's just a regular business because they don't have compliance. They don't have like the security requirements. I got to pay 10 grand a month for security. You don't fucking pay 10 grand a month for security. Oh no, because it's hemp. You're selling marijuana, bitch. And so they don't have to pay any of that stuff, and then they don't have to have the audit risk. And so like we're a C corporation for audit risk protection. And then we have to like file stuff under section 471C to say this is all classified as inventory. You don't have to do any of that. And so, but they get that cash. And then if they're making that cash, they can write checks to how many people are in the legislature in Texas. It's probably quite a lot, but I bet it's less than 150. And so you just have to buy out a few people that are there that are standing in the way or like want to vote for it. And then like in my state, like the person who's the speaker of the House, and there's a speaker of the House in Texas, and I'm assuming Texas is more Republican than it is Democrat, but I don't know if they have what they call a super majority. If they do, and the Republicans have a super majority, they just cut out the other party and they don't care. They don't matter. And then you only call a bill if you know it's going to pass. And you can pick off like a few people around it and just write them a check for $5 grand. They're going to have a fundraiser. They're going to want you to buy a table. You buy a table.
Well, you know, Dan,
I
know Dan Patrick had that beautiful press conference with all the people in suits behind him yelling about how this is almost like spice, and they're partially true, right? Some of these hemp extracts are involving more toxins in them than we know, but this bill that they're about to pass, they're trying to, was also going to expand their medical market. So, that's what they need to focus on too, because they got a hemp goddamn medical market. Like, I just really wish they would not have so much fear of this plant. Like, they have so much potential for being one of the largest states,
right?
One of the largest markets they could be. But yeah, I don't think I heard there's that pause, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like that's one of the things. I'm just not very, I'm a jaded guy, and so, but still, our next story, interesting. It's the Dojing of America. The United States Justice Department considers merging DEA and ATF in a major shakeup. This is out of Reuters, also from March 27th. A lot of news came out this week.
Yeah.
Besides like the AI stuff that made our thumbnail for this week. The Justice Department is considering merging the lead agencies of enforcing drugs and gun laws in a major shakeup. And so this is in a potential merging of the DEA and the ATF. And so they have a memo that came out on March 25th. Reuters then wants me to sign up to read the memo. I have not read the memo.
I would imagine if this merge of some sort does happen, wouldn't this just be another delay for rescheduling it? This is just going to be more delay for...
No, not necessarily. I mean, like, if you're, again, remember, if Joe Biden would have fired Milgram and put in whatever person, like if Joe Biden would have put in the Kash Patel on DEA, like, you know, Kash Patel will do whatever the fuck Donald Trump says.
Yeah.
Right. And so if they had that person in, like, you know, fire Ann Milgram, put in whoever is going to like sign this, Joe Biden could have pushed through Schedule 3 and made it done.
Yeah.
He didn't care to. Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of Biden's, the leadership. You know, you're running a country. I get you can't focus on this one issue, and I get he actually got the ball rolling, so I can't get all mad at him. But also, you know, this Trump administration so far, the only mention they made about marijuana has been about DC. That has been the only what do you call it, representative from the administration. From the
administration, but all the like our next story is about, like, we see it like every week. We have one of these since Trump became the president, and I'm not saying it's because of him. I'm just saying, like, it's strange that we've noticed this in the past few weeks, and we have another one this week. This time it's out of Forbes: rise in marijuana-related health diagnoses amongst Americans. And so this is out of Forbes magazine, and it was hilarious that just. You know, last week, I think it was Reuters, and the week before that, it was Newsweek, and now we have it out of Forbes. And so recent data indicates a significant increase in marijuana-related health diagnoses in the United States between 2016 and 2022, up over 50% from nearly 341,000 to 522,000. And that's only for patients under 65 with employer health insurance. Dwindling amount of people. And so there we have some key quotes. And so that we already did that one. There are no real health benefits from marijuana in some patients. There are also real harms in the drugs. That's a Dr. Omar Awan mentioned that. So, like, you see the prejudice in the doctor who's doing the study to begin with, or he's just seeing facts as he sees them.
Oh, it's 100%. I think it's easier for people in this president administration to fearmonger and not push for real change or real proper policy. But yeah, and I think that's why we're seeing so many of these fear-mongering reefer madness articles, right? Like the Oklahoma stuff, or more illicit grows have been discovered. Well, good. It's kind of like when they talk about like the border. You know, like, oh, we caught 100,000 people crossing the border. Well, I guess the shit works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess policies work when you have real regulations involved trying to be part of a system.
Yeah, but this Dr. Omar Awan is a practicing physician who covers public health. You have no idea. I'm a practicing lawyer, and if somebody wants to pay me $100,000 to publish something for them in Forbes, I'll do it. But it's one of those where I'm reading this, and I could be a senior contributor. Forbes is in on the payola too. You write Forbes check. You are somebody who is substantial in the industry, or like an expert, and then you draft it to their editorial specifications, and then after it's published, you share it on social media and you give it to your client and be like, that'll be $100,000.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what I would. Nah, that's just selling out, man.
No, it's not selling out. It's representing with zealousy. Zealousy is never how they pronounce it. It's always zealous advocacy. They never put zealousy. Yeah, I'm advocating in a zealous fashion. I guess that would be the other one. Yeah, zealous. I am advocating zealously. This is we are now going to be talking about large words as adverbs or verbs, part of the show. Thank you for joining us. This is Cannabis Legalization News. Don't forget to like and subscribe because, where are they? Not screen share.
Because you
there
like
it is. If you like weed and random tangents, this is the program for you.
And regulation and culture. And, we're just trying to get some policy change. We've got some Minnesota receives thousands of applications for cannabis license news.
Yep. Minnesota is going to become the new Michigan. I shit you not. Minnesota is going to have great prices. They're going to have great weed. It'll take 3 to 5 years for it to roll out, and there will be no shortage of it. The price compression is coming for you, Illinois. Schedule 3 would assist that, but the retailers, they have to pay, and then they mark up their product. How much will they mark up? It's really going to depend on how many retailers you allow, not necessarily how many growers you allow. Washington State has growers that can go out of business, but the retailers tend to do well because they're fixed. But still, same thing. And now we're seeing 3,500 applicants, and additionally new 2,000 submissions, and an original 1,400 plus social equity applicants. And they are going for a bazillion licenses. Many of them are going to be micro business licenses. I want to say, and I should have done a better job of staying on top of the AI on this one. There was over 1,300 applications for micro businesses, which is an unlicensed, unlimited license type. So anyone in Minnesota who applied for this type of license can grow up to 5,000 square feet of canopy and have a retail location. It's ridiculous. It's such an opportunity. You can be vertically integrated, selling your own crop, but also stocking other people's crops. And you're going to see out of that 1,340, a lot of them, over 200 micro business, over 200 social equity applicants are now out of the gate, they will be out of the gate very, very soon. They will die on the vine just like the ones from New Jersey did. And so 4 years ago, because we've been around for that long, we saw this exact same effing thing where you had this state policy that then they changed during the application process. And so you see that during this stuff where here's the rules. Oh, are you sure about that, bitch? Yeah. They will change the rules on you during the application process. And then this limited state now becomes an unlimited state. And so it's going to be much more like Michigan than it is Illinois. And so it's going to, or much more like New Jersey, it's identical to New Jersey because they had social equity and unlimited licenses. So now you're going to see this play out, and here's what's going to happen. Those 200 social equity applicants, unless they sell out, and they need to sell out yesterday, unless they sell out yesterday, they're all gone because they won't have the money to get open. And so the rich people that also applied that are waiting for their licenses to be processed own property, and they are going to get that property zoned in the name of the applicant because that's who the special use permit needs to be had. And that person exists, and they're just in a line, and they're going to get the special use permit first, and then you're locked out. And so it'll take some time for it to process. Most of the social equity people will lose all their shit, and that's how they did it in Minnesota. It's quite a bit like New Jersey.
They stopped one social ground that we were in. I got that letter, I was excited, and then they said nope, it's because of that lawsuit. So
right.
Do you think if they reopened the social equity ground, because they're supposed to do one post facto, right?
No, you guys, you withdrew, so we got a refund on that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we saw that the fix was in, and it's Chinatown, and we hit the exit. Okay. We advised the clients to hit the exit. And so the reason for that was there was still some that were in that lottery, but then now your cost of capital is through the roof and your return on investment is in the toilet.
Sure. I got you, because it's not a limited market as it was.
Yes. Yeah. And then you were going for a larger license. So if you have a shitload of capital, great. Because then you can get and you have to farm. And so you have to farm a lot of space, 15,000 square feet, put that out, because then all those micro businesses, they're going to struggle to get a dispensary open. And so if they can get a dispensary open, then those larger businesses, but then they're half for social equity, half aren't. So it's easier to win the social equity license, but you still have to like, get lucky. And so like that social equity guy has to sell out yesterday. And then that guy who wins the other one already probably sold out because he had less than 10% interest. And so he didn't have to disclose. You know, there was ways to run that lottery like backwards and forwards. And it was kind of surprising to see like, you know, law firm of the year just kind of botch it, but whatever.
No, man, that sucks. But it'll be good for them.
For me.
No, I'm
not for you. I mean, it sucks for social equity. It sucks for social equity. They won't get their payday.
There you go. I mean, that's just what it is. I was hoping to have another lottery ticket.
Nope. Well, you will in Illinois if they do another round. We'll do another round. You'll have another lottery ticket. Your wife will have a lottery ticket. They won't change the definition, but you know, DEI is not a thing anymore, and that might apply to social equity one day.
Just the craziest world of trying to sell weed now, opposed to like how I just buy quarter pounds and flip it.
That is not how you sell weed.
Hey, traditional market, baby.
Nope. That's there's a difference between selling weed legally and selling weed illegally. And it's called like business records and like rules and shit.
It's about a path, right?
It's like, like, you know, back when you were selling weed illegally, it's like you see it now, like people just don't pay their invoices. You know,
yeah.
But
don't get fronts.
Back in the day, you just murder the people that delivered you the weed.
Yeah, and then you'd also like, you know, you see a lot of that even in the recreational market, right? But at least now you have recourse, lawsuits. You know, that's the thing. Back in the day, you didn't have recourse. You hope you caught that person out in town again. You know?
You hope that you didn't get murdered when you were trying to deliver the goods.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why you have a gun, which is another federal crime. But you're not supposed to be dealing weed, and you're not supposed to be killing people, and you're not supposed to have an unlicensed gun. But yet, there you are, trying to get that sweet, sweet cash because that's the only plan that you have.
I mean,
I pity those people. Yeah.
Shaping things are getting better, though. Rescheduling needs to happen. That's the only option we have. And thanks for hanging out with 250 of our closest friends.
Hey, what are you going to do next? Because you're still, when do you come back? How long are you on vacation?
I'll be back next week on the 6th. Is that what is the 6th?
That's the 6th is about a week from now or so.
It's a Sunday.
I think it's the 4th. Okay, yeah. So yeah, enjoy your week in Mexico, bro.
Oh,
everybody, wish Biggie some happy Mexican vibes for the next week.
I got some sweet edible sugar cookies. I've been reformed. Edibles are the way if you can't smoke. I mean, they're pretty strong. They make me feel pretty good. Like it hits the spot. So, thanks for hanging with us. So sure.
Yep.
And
I wish we had better news, but you know, if you want to stay on top of the news, you can get it right there. That's our QR code for our newsletter that fires off when we do the podcast or when we drop other videos or have other updates over at the company. So if you want to follow along, please do. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in, and big shout out to all of our members. We're going to put you in the credits here in a minute.
Hell yeah.